How can you support your local community, small businesses, and generate an income? Today, we conclude the 4-part series with Terra Osman. I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation because the topic of building and supporting community is just so important. In today's episode, Terra and I discuss ways buyers and sellers can get the most out of the Farmish app and why it's a perfect way to help build community and support local. And don't forget, you can get the app for free. Just search Farmish app on your Apple or Android device. And if you're ready to start an on-homestead or off-homestead income stream, consider joining the Marketplace membership. Terra shares more about that in this episode. So let's get started. This is the Homesteading for Beginners podcast, and I'm Mona Weathers, your homesteading mentor and coach. I'm here to encourage you to pursue your homesteading goals with the right mindset in a way that is healthy for you, your family, and your community. If you desire to establish a solid foundation for your homesteading journey, then you are in the right place. Join me as I share stories from the past 20 plus years of our own journey, as well as practical and actionable steps you can take to start and maintain a healthy homestead. So how are you getting the word out about Farmish? I mean, you came on this podcast, which I'm really excited because I really want this to be successful. I want people to understand the importance of local, and we talk about it all the time. We talk about it, homesteaders and regenerative agriculture and all that stuff. Talk about stuff like that a lot, but I want to make sure people are actually doing that. And I think this app will help people do exactly what we're talking about. So how are you getting the word out about Farmish?
Yeah. So I will be very transparent here because I think it's an important part of our story. So I lost that business competition that I talked about earlier. And so this was in the fall, and I was trying to figure out how to make an app. And I thought, I know where my audience is. I know where the people I want to connect with is, and they are on TikTok because I spent a long time on TikTok following families who were growing food and gardeners. And so I created an account, Farmish Terra, and I started posting about, not necessarily, it was November, so I didn't have garden content really. So I started posting about food system content. I didn't mention Farmish. I talked about food system and the 4 companies that control the meat industry and where a lot of our produce came from most of the year and the benefits of buying from local farmers and growing your own food. And I had 1,000 users within the first 10 days, I think. And nothing went viral. And even before Farmish launched, nothing went viral. It was all like really genuine connection. Like I was following people who I was really interested in getting to know and following. And they were mostly homestead moms. They were mostly, kind of in that demographic that I was trying to solve a problem for and that I was interested in being friends with. And so during that time, I was working to build Farmish, and someone asked, like, well, how do we find local farms? And I was like, hey, I've been working on this thing because I hadn't mentioned it. And so I started sharing about Farmish, and the people who were already really connected with me and I was connected with them on TikTok started hyping me up. And so I launched it in March, last March, to TikTok. I think I had like 10,000 followers, and we had over at like 1,200 users within the first 2 days.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we had 5,000 within a few weeks. And it was all from people sharing. It was all from people for free sharing content and sharing videos and posting in their local Facebook groups. And then someone who I've gotten to know really well from TikTok, Kelsey Shaw, she posts a lot. She's a freeze dryer. She posts some amazing content for preservation. And she posted on Facebook. And that post went viral. I think it was shared like 30,000 times. We had like 100,000 downloads.
Wow.
So within 2 months of it launching. And so at that time, it was just me in my kids' playroom. I had just made an app 8 weeks before. So
Wow.
it crashed a lot. There were a lot of technical problems. And so I had days where I was super frustrated. And my husband's like, people are using it. People
Mm-hmm.
are selling food for the first time. People are
Yeah.
selling eggs for the first time. Like, yes, it sucks that it's not working very well, but people are using it.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of our growth has been like that, has been people sharing it locally. And I could see where that would happen because I would see 15 different listings pop up in a small town north of Salt Lake City or in
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky, just super hyper local, because people would go to their local groups and share it.
Mm-hmm.
Really, it doesn't benefit them. Even if we're running ads, it doesn't benefit them if there are 15 listings all over Utah.
Mm-hmm.
It benefited them that it was right in their small town.
Right. Yeah.
So we've been mostly bootstrapped. I did a accelerator through Michigan State, so they gave us some funding. And so we haven't paid for ads up until this week. We just started doing sponsored podcasts, and Luke from MI Gardner is creating some content for us.
Nice.
And so we're just kind of testing that out. I've looked into ads, and typically a startup at this stage spends tens of thousands, if not 100,000 a month on ads.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we're not necessarily growing the way those, a typical startup would grow. But I think the passion is there in our users, that they're sharing their listings and sharing profiles. And that is so impactful to me because I know we're not buying those users. They're people who are really interested in using it.
Right. And that's like kind of the beauty of homesteading. It's like people know that they have to support other people in order to have a really good economy. It's not just about paying, the big companies for the products. And that's why I said earlier, it's like multi-level it's beneficial in multiple ways, like for you as a consumer, for you as a producer, which is, the basic definition of homesteading, I think, is like being more of a producer than a consumer. And for you as someone who wants to support the community around you, who wants to build relationships. I mean, there's just so many so many levels to this, and we use technology as well. Like, we don't have to throw out everything. Becoming a homesteader doesn't mean you have to go. You don't have to. You can if you want to throw out all technology, but you can also use technology to help the cause, to help the lifestyle.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons it was really important to me. Number one, to have the market membership as a revenue stream, because there are very few ways to monetize a marketplace. A subscription is kind of unusual. The most common would be a transaction fee. So then we'd be pushing all of our sellers into using one sales platform and to sell it in that way. That means they can't trade or barter necessarily. That means they can't pay, get paid in cash or in whatever system they're already using. And so we are implementing a payment option within the next few months, but it's not going to be required for the sellers. And I think that's really important.
Yeah.
And then the other way we looked into are platform ads. And when companies advertise, especially larger companies, in a lot of ways, they want the user information. It's an exchange of the platform. And so again, that's not something we do unless they agree that they, will really just be getting views information, how many views their ad gets and click-throughs and nothing else. So, we're looking at a couple different options because an app is very expensive. And so it's important, it's sustainable. But on that note, every market member can join our affiliate program.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. Yeah.
So we want people to love the product and the membership and to share it and to make money doing it.
Right.
And so if we can be completely sustainable off our users, off us paying our users, new users, that would be ideal.
Yeah.
Pay any, put that to Facebook when we can, if someone sells a lot of, or promotes Farmish a lot and makes 10 grand, I will happily
Mm-hmm.
give
Yeah.
that money. So
Yeah. And those used will end up being, the affiliates sharing to real people, the real person
yeah,
sharing to another real person, sharing to another real person is really the best way to grow, like you
yeah,
have grown already. Real quick, I wanted to let you know you can download and use Farmish for free on Apple or Android. It's available in the US and Canada. You can also visit the website getfarmish.com. Terra is offering a $10 off for the first month of the market membership for my listeners. So just use code MONA, MONA, and you'll get that $10 off for your first month. Links and details will also be in the show notes. But
and
yeah.
I think, the market membership would be a really good tool for a farmer's market itself.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to link to other profiles within their member profile where they're sharing content. And
Mm-hmm.
so someone could potentially go in, especially if they're a market vendor, go into their farmer's market and say, hey, here's a coupon for $5 off,
Mm-hmm.
or here's, sign up through this link and get all the vendors on. And connect, then the accounts can be connected. People can make separate events based on what's going on at the market and away from the market, and
Right.
really just have an active community within that.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. That is the first thing on my checklist for beginners is get connected. That's the
Yeah.
first thing on my checklist that I give people. It's like get connected to your local community, to your online community, visit farms. Like that is the first thing you want to do when you're starting your journey,
Yeah.
because people in your area, even people outside of your area, if you're online, they're the ones that are going to actually let you know what it is that you need to do, especially your local people if you're growing food or
For
whatever,
sure.
because of grow zones and those sorts of things, and
Yeah.
knowing the best place to get the feed or whatever. Those are things that you learn from your local community.
Yeah.
And then the online community, I feel like I appreciate, we were talking about Clubhouse earlier.
Yeah.
I met a lot of people overseas on
Yeah.
Clubhouse. I
That's
never
cool.
would have met
Mhm.
people in England and things like that. It's just really lovely to hear the different perspectives from around the world. So
Yeah, for sure.
anyway, I kind of got off on that.
No, that's
But
right. But I think especially farmers markets,
mhm,
I love farmers markets, but as a
mhm,
mom with young kids, it's not always practical. And when
yeah,
I did buy from a farmer's market, I don't necessarily remember who I bought from. I'd have to
yeah,
check
it's true.
my Stripe email or
Mhm,
my receipt, but I
yeah,
don't have a connection with them.
mhm,
And so I want to be able to have people find a farmer's market profile on Farmish,
mhm,
have the link, see the other profiles that sell at that market and follow all of them.
right, yeah,
So when tomatoes are ready, which in Michigan we're quite a ways off unless you have a
mhm,
greenhouse, I want to know when that first fresh tomato
mhm,
is ready,
right,
and that's just something that people can't necessarily do through Facebook or websites or even email.
right,
How many emails do you have in your inbox right now?
right, exactly.
So
Yeah, it really is a great model because, like you said, with farmers markets are great, but you also kind of you can buy too much
yeah,
because I mean, I'm not
you
saying
go
don't go to the
shopping
farmers.
cart.
Yeah. You can end
Yep.
up doing too much, but if you have a plan before, and this is a way you can have a plan, like, okay, I'm going to get my tomatoes that are ripe right now. I know,
And
but yeah.
those farmers have a way to diversify their
Mhm.
income. They
Right.
bring the prettiest tomatoes to the farmer's
Mhm.
market, right? But as a
Yeah.
keener, I would buy seconds. I would
Mhm.
buy the ugliest tomatoes you have.
Right.
And
Yeah.
they're not necessarily gonna haul bushels of those to the farmer's market when they can sell
Mhm.
the pretty ones for more
Right.
for more.
Yeah.
But if I'm connected with that farmer on Farmish, and maybe the day before they say, "Hey, if anyone wants to pre-order bushels of seconds,
Mhm.
let me know."
Yeah.
And then, we can set up, or I can pick them up at the farm, or we can meet up somewhere before or after the market. It
Mhm.
just opens up a lot of options. And there are some other apps coming into the space trying to make this work also. But from what I've seen, they're not keeping options open for homesteaders and farmers. They're saying, use this software, sell this way.
Right.
You know, and we're trying to work with existing systems and with what people are already using.
Yeah. Well, I am just really excited to use it more. I have downloaded it, of course, and I've looked, and I actually found somebody that I know that I'm following on Facebook that's on the app, which is funny. She was selling some different things.
Cool.
But yeah, it was just funny because of that. But the only thing, I wish more people were using it, so that's why we're getting the word out. If more people use the app, the better it will get.
Yeah.
I can just see how good this will be in the future.
And we can definitely, you know, we're going to experiment a little more in advertising, but none of that is as impactful as people sharing it locally in their small towns and communities. That's the most effective way that we've seen, for sure.
Yeah. So if you have a friend that you know that they're selling something, or if you're not quite ready in that space yet of selling something, or if you need something, like, just use the app, like use the tools, press the buttons, get it done, right?
And even, you know, you can share a listing to a local Facebook group or to someone else. It doesn't have to be yours. You can say, like, hey, I found this farmer, you know, I found this on Farmish. And then they'll have, you know, and then they'll go to look at the listing, and that's a way to support that farmer too. Even if you don't have, maybe you're not going to buy a half a cow right now.
Right.
But you could share, you know, you could press the share button and you can share with other people.
See, there's like so many levels to this, how this can help people. So that's amazing. Yeah. Finding local community, supporting small business, generating an income. You know, there's so many different levels to this. So I just want to thank you so much for coming and talking with us about this. And I'm sure we'll talk again soon. I'll be using the app, and everybody listening will be using the app. I can't guarantee that, but that's the hope.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, that is the end of the 4-part series with Terra Osman. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. I feel she really encouraged a lot of people to start where they are. Start even if you're in a small homestead situation, or you feel like you can't get started because you don't have enough space. She's growing a lot of food in her small space. So just, you know, think outside the box, think about what the things that you can do, and download the Farmish app, because you can help support your local community. You can find food that's healthier for you and your family. You can generate an income if you have something to sell. Start that on homestead and off homestead income streams and get your dreams to come true. Use this tool to help accomplish the goals that you have. Okay, I thank you so much for listening, and as always, I will be back next week.